I spend my nights under the stage lights, but after the applause, I'm back in my truck from my hometown dealer, Benoit Motors. The country roads of Louisiana are my soul, and Benoit Motors gets who I am and who we are. They are proud to be a dealership for the everyday American. Join me and become a member of their family. Benoit Motors. They're with you for all your life's big moments and all the miles in between.
Well, good evening, Panther fans, and welcome to the Coach Doty Show, brought to you by Benoit Ford of Farmerville. I want to say a special thank you to Mr. Danny and Miss Monica Benoit and their support of the Coaches Show each and every week. I'm Ben Hackler, of course, with Coach Doty, and I'm going to talk to you about last week's game, get you set for this week's game. But, Coach, before we get into that, we want to recognize our senior spotlight brought to us by McDonald's. Is that correct?
Yeah, we got a couple guys this week, Antonio Speck and Cooper Line. If y'all come on up, these will be our spotlight players. They'll also serve as captains this week. Cooper's been with us for 4 years, has done a great job, played a lot of football for us. Antonio transferred in here last year and had to set out. He come in during the season, had to set out for us, and he's going, you always have that one guy when they leave your program. He's a senior, and, you're going to see him sometime next year, and you're going to say, man, I wish we had him, and that's what's happening with this guy. He's getting better and better every week, and he's playing a lot more. Cooper helps anchor our offensive line. He's done a good job as well, and both guys work hard in the weight room and are good students, and we appreciate them, and they'll be our captains this week. So let's give them a big hand. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Well, Coach, last night, Halloween, of course, the Dotys had a show down there on Kingfisher, and was it a pretty good night of trick-or-treating down there?
Yeah, we had over 100 kids come by, so that's a lot for our part of the neighborhood.
Is there any candy left?
Yes, there is candy left, and we'll be shipping it to your house tomorrow.
I bet. Don't ship it to mine. I gave away everything I could find already. Well, Coach, let's talk about last Thursday night, tough loss to an Amite squad that made the road trip up. And before we talk about the ball game, Coach Powell was asked a question about the game with him and gave some really high praise to your program. And so I just wanted to ask, just for your side of it, Amite seems like a really well-run program. Those guys came in pretty disciplined, took care of business. But what was the experience like for you as you prepared for that ball game and even dealing with that coaching staff and administration?
It was all good. It was all positive. We talked about moving the game to Thursday, inclement weather possibly coming in on Friday. I mean, they're the ones that had to make the long road trip. They're very positive about doing it, and, asked us if we could start it at 6 if they did. We accommodated that. All the film swap, the roster swap, the information swap, everything was, something I'm not really used to, just to be honest with you. I mean, it's just a first-class program. Everything went really well, very disciplined, very organized, and there's a reason why them guys got championship rings on. So, yeah, it was all good. Looking forward to the return trip next year, going down and letting them guys return to hospitality.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, it was a tough loss. You guys came up on the short end, 26-20. But really a night where the Panthers had some opportunities and just seemed to come up short. Your initial thoughts, before we talk any specifics, initial thoughts on looking back to Thursday night?
Yeah, it was one of the tougher losses of my career, just to be honest with you. As far as being here at Sterlington, I'm sure there's been some that's been worse. You get beat in the dome by a team you probably shouldn't get beat by. That resonates for a while. But Thursday was tough, and you pout for a little while, and then you got to wind up and get ready to grind and get after it again. But it was I'm gonna give Amite credit. They made plays when they had to make plays, but it still doesn't describe how much that one hurt. Not just me, a lot of folks. So we felt like we prepared really well all week, and we did miss on some opportunities. Like I said, Amite made the plays and that they had to make, and we came out on the short end of the stick.
Well, Coach, let's talk some specifics. Offensively, I mean, really from the first drive, you had some success on the ground in particular, and really with the fullback. And I've heard you guys talk about it's a tailback game, fullback game. This one early on looked like a fullback game. Brody ends up with 26 carries for 115 yards and 3 scores, which for a fullback I would think would be kind of a great night as a fullback. Was the game plan going in? Did you know it was going to be a fullback game, or did you guys just see that and begin to dominate on it or pick up on it early?
Well, I mean, we try to establish the fullback because most of the time the fullback opens up the rest of the running game. But they in the first half they just kind of was going to take away our outside run game with the toss and the counter, and they had 8 and 9 in the box. They started off with 9 in the box. We threw a pass to John, and now they double covered him the rest of the night. So it's those guys can run, and they all within 5-6 yards of the line of scrimmage, and it's tough to run anything but dive, just to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you mentioned that the fullback dive kind of opens it up. How does the fullback dive open it up for the other things that are in your game plan?
Well, we got to pull the ball more on the option. We didn't really do a good job of getting it pulled and pitched a lot of times, and you get everybody diving inside to stop the dive, and diving on the ground to stop the dive, and it just takes one less to get out on the perimeter there, but. Still, man, we had enough offense to win the ball game. And, it just, like I said, they made plays when they needed to.
Well, Coach, I was looking at that today. I went back and was walking through the play-by-play and that we have. And you had 9 possessions for the ball game. You score on 3 of them. But one of the things that kind of has been a little bit of an Achilles heel, I guess, not just this year, but even looking back some, is when we get behind the chains, we tend to get in a little bit of trouble. And on your I believe it was the 4th drive. You just had the 2 fumbles, and we kind of working out of that. I think the score is 7-6. But you get the ball back, and you really are ready to have a drive. You get a chop block penalty early. And I was looking back, and my understanding of what a chop block is and what I saw on film weren't the same thing. Can you help us kind of understand what was going on there?
Well, they called a chop block with the tight end, but you got 4 yards free blocking zone from each side of the football. And, you think of a chop block as when you cut someone or hit them high that's engaged with another player. But they basically called that and said, well, we're outside the zone. Well, 4 yards is a long way from the center. And, we went back out Friday and lined guys up. And, that call, we cut like that on every play. I mean, to call that just out of the blue, again, that's that home field advantage we don't have.
Yeah.
If we're at Amite or we're at Union Parish and that block is made, do you think that's going to get called? I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other thing that happened to you call for the repo kick, the onside kick that really looks like to us. Aiden makes a pretty good kick. The ball rolls. Amite bails out. He's going to recover there at midfield. But what was the conversation on the sideline? What did the referee tell you, and why did Amite get the football?
Well, he said that the guy that threw the flag, which is also the one that threw the chop block, by the way, the guy that threw the flag was behind the play, and I'm not sure how he could see it from the sideline. Said the ball hit him in the stomach. But, there again, when we go to Amite next year, and if they onside kick that, and it's any doubt, Amite's going to get that call.
Yeah.
Amite's going to get that call. So, I've been battling that now. This is my 6 years as head coach here. We've been battling that since I've been here. I'm not really sure Coach Thompson battled that as much as I did, because I wouldn't really, when I was doing my thing, I wasn't worried about the officiating. But, I'm not saying that I'm worried about it now, but at some point in time.
You just like one.
The Brody fumble at Carroll, it's a 7-7 ball game, and what they told me was they didn't see the ball come out, and that's at our place.
Yeah.
That's our call. I can promise you, if you're at Union Parish and nobody sees that ball comes out, I can tell you who's going to get the call.
Yeah.
If you're at Carroll and nobody sees, I can tell you, but like I said, we have to be better than them as well. The thing about our football team is everybody around us, with the exception of 2 or 3 teams, they're judged against us.
Right.
Sterlington's football team is judged against perfection. And, it's hard to get perfection all the time if you can't even get a call at your own house.
Yeah.
So maybe things will get better, or maybe now they've seen this, maybe it'll get worse, and we'll just have to use Shreveport officials. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, Coach, even with those two things, I mean, really for the offense, you come into the second half, you get a couple touchdowns, and you're within striking distance even as time expires on the back end. So I think it was you can attribute that to just some resilience that you guys showed. And I know that's kind of been the mantra is bad things are going to happen. That includes bad calls. And so you were still able to fight through. When you go in at halftime, some of that stuff's happened, and you're looking at coming out. What are you saying to your guys about the second half?
Well, we were up 7-6,
Yeah.
Despite 2 fumbles and a whole lot of other stuff that went wrong. We're still up 7-6, and, my message is if they don't score, they don't win, But just keep fighting, and, you keep telling them, man, you keep doing things the right way, you keep playing hard, something good's going to happen. But that hasn't been the case a whole lot for us.
Yeah.
So I think our kids are playing extremely hard, and but we just hadn't had those breaks that, last year we were at North DeSoto, and it was one play left basically to decide the game, and we had a kid that's on his knees at the 1 yard line reach up and rip the ball out as the guy's going across the goal line to save the game.
Yeah.
That's something good happening for you right there, because we don't teach that, okay? Right. We don't have a play that calls for that. But we haven't, those are things that haven't happened for us this year. And, maybe they're fixing to come here on the back end of the schedule.
Yeah. Well, Coach, defensively, one of the things we talked about last week was you were concerned with the amount of speed that Amite brought in, and I think they lived up to that. I think we saw that from the quarterback and from the receivers and even from their defense. But in the first half, and really I think for the most part of the game, you guys accounted for that. What in your scheme allowed you to account for that speed and kind of keep them at bay for the most part until they're in the last part of the fourth quarter?
Well, we had a pretty good tell on them about when it was going to be run or pass, and I think it triggered on them that they knew what we were doing there, and but that helped us out tremendously. And but then we, I thought we did a good job. I thought we ran to the ball really well. I didn't think they were, after it was over with, that they were just that much faster than us. We had some issues, with our coverage, and we're playing some two-dog, what we call do-dog, where you're running with the guy and you got a safety over the top as well. And, if you do the right thing at point A, then at point B doesn't have to be perfect,
Yeah.
And if you do the perfect thing at point, and we just didn't do that. I mean, they were dropping dimes on us, man. It was 3rd and 13, and it was 20-20, and I don't know how you can throw it any better than he threw it. That kid that came in and caught the ball had been on the sideline the whole second half, nursing the injury. So he comes in and does that, but that's the luck that we're having this year.
Yeah, well, Coach, you guys were able to make some big plays, and you do hold them to 6, and then, of course, you give up the 3 scores in the second half. But, again, when your defense needed to, you answered the bell in the fourth quarter until that last drive of Amite. You've given the ball back to your offense. What adjustments did you make after a few of those big plays that kind of kept it close so your offense could have a chance?
I thought our D-line and we started blitzing some, getting pressure on him, and he struggled a little bit throwing the ball on the run. And, I thought that was a good thing. I mean, you can get the guys over on the sideline and show them, hey, man, if you put your hands on this guy at the line of scrimmage, this doesn't happen. So, kids are taking coaching really well, and they're doing a good job. So, basically just went out there and just kept playing hard.
Well, Coach, you guys did fight to the end, did come up a little short. Final score was 26-20. As you've looked back this weekend at the film and then got your team together on Monday, what was the things that you told your team about last week, and how do you shut the door and get ready for this week?
Well, you don't have a choice, and but because you're playing a good team this week. But, what I'm looking at now is a six-game season. It doesn't really matter what's happened back then. But, it's all that matters now is going forward. And I'll still say this, and I'll say this until it's over. Me being, if I was coaching somewhere else and I saw the bracket and I saw that they got to play us, I wouldn't be real happy or excited about it, because you got to think we're going to break through here soon.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know we've looked at brackets that way before and said, we don't want them. I would think there's probably some of that going on around the state right now. Well, Coach, as we kind of wrap up last week, do you have a player of the week from last week that you want to recognize?
I had several players that played really good. Javarius Himes is here with us tonight. He played really well, had 3 sacks. Had 3 sacks and numerous quarterback hurries for us on top of 4 tackles as well. He is a pass rush guy and speed guy, and he's a guy also, we tried to play him at linebacker early in the year, and then injuries forced us to move him back to DN, so he's starting to settle in now at DN and is playing his best football. So it's our player of the week right here, Javarius Himes.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Javarius.
Thanks, Javarius.
Coach, one of my favorite plays Javarius made was the quarterback sack. I guess it was in the first half. Kind of a Superman sack is what I called it. He just dove and hung on for dear life. I think there's a pretty good picture of that, Javarius. You need to get and hang on your wall. But congratulations to him. That's our player of the week, brought to you by First Security Title of Monroe. Panther fans, we're going to take a quick break. Be right back with more of the Coaches Show in just a moment.
I spend my nights under the stage lights, but after the applause, I'm back in my truck from my hometown dealer, Benoit Motors. The country roads of Louisiana are my soul, and Benoit Motors gets who I am and who we are. They are proud to be a dealership for the everyday American. Join me and become a member of their family. Benoit Motors. They're with you for all your life's big moments and all the miles in between.
Panther fans, we're back with the Coach Doty Show, brought to you by Benoit Ford of Farmerville. Panthers are home again this week to take on the Wossman Wildcats. And, Coach, has Week 10 gotten here as fast for you as it has for us? I can't believe that we're already at Week 10.
Yeah, we started October, and I told our guys at the end of this month we'll have 1 regular season football game left. And, I don't know if anybody thought it was going to go by as quick as it did. So, here we are, Week 10.
Week 10. Well, it is the Wossman Wildcats coming to Sterlington. Pretty familiar opponent, pretty familiar scheme. Of course, they do have a new head coach over there, and Coach Cahey, and he's done some good things so far. It seems like they're trying to get culture and things established. As he's come in, Coach, what do you see so far, the difference between what he's brought to Wossman and even what you saw last year?
I think they have a little bit better scheme defensively for sure, and more of a technique type and fundamental type and scheme, and they're doing a good job. They dealt with a bunch of injuries and a bunch of other things as well down there. He's got a young team like we do, so he's doing a good job. Well,
Coach, as you looked at him on film, what are your thoughts so far on the Wildcats, and what can we expect from them? Let's start on the offensive side of the football.
Well, I mean, they're everybody else we played, other than Union Parish. There's a spread team, and we draw plays every week that we had to practice against. We just go in the folder and pull out plays from the previous weeks, Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, and they're doing it with some different personnel, of course. Sometimes people have a really fast quarterback, sometimes a really fast running back, sometimes both, Sometimes people like to throw it out of the spread or run it, but, it's all the same as far as lining up and playing goes, and they got to play 2 quarterbacks. 14 looks like the bigger running type quarterback, and then 10 looks like a more of an athletic thrower who can also run. So we got a work cut out for us, but we've had 2 good days of practice, so I'm encouraged by what's going on.
Well, Coach, when you talk about that offense and the spread and then running and throwing, I mean, the running, you can handle that, and you've seen that. In their passing game, one of the things that I noticed was it seems like a lot of quick hits. I know they do take some shots downfield, but they also seem very content with just a quick snap and a quick 5-yard slant. How do you defend against that? Because I know against most spreads we want to get some pressure on the quarterback, get him uncomfortable, but in a 2-second snap to throw, I mean, that's a pretty short window. How do you defend against a short pass in that moment?
Well, you just got to jump those routes and hope you get one, and discourage them from continuing doing that. So, but we practice against it. We got a plan for it, and main thing is if they throw it and catch it, just tackle them.
Yeah.
Even throwing 10-yard hitches and 5-yard outs and 7-yard stops or whatever you want to call it, you still got to get the snap You know, still got to protect, still got to throw it, and still got to catch it. So,
Yeah.
Main thing is once they catch it, just tackle them, make them line up, and do that 15 times down the field.
Yeah. I remember Coach Ashley telling us, several years ago that when you throw the football, 3 things can happen. 2 of them's bad. So it's kind of, I guess, that's the approach to a team that throws the ball a lot.
Right. But their running back's good too. You know.
Yeah.
And big up front. So I mean, they run the ball. They try to establish the run, but they gotten behind over at Union Parish. I think that's why they end up throwing the ball, 40 times. But yeah, they run the ball against Bastrop, and they try to establish the run. That seems to be what they want to do first.
So, Coach, as you approach from your defense, what's your message to your defense about keys and things they've got to do this week to be successful?
Well, I'm proud of the effort we're getting, and we're tackling so much better and lining up better and doing the little things correctly, and just keep playing, man. And we have so much to play for.
Yeah.
So much to play for. So just keep playing, just keep getting after it, and just tackle. Like I said, just tackle those guys and make them line up and snap it again.
Yeah, Coach, one of the things I don't think a lot of folks realized last week, and William and I mentioned this during the broadcast, but probably folks in the stands didn't realize this, but you started, I believe it was 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen on defense. And one of the things we know about young players is they got to get reps. And what kind of growth are you seeing from those young guys? Because you are putting them in position now here late in the season where it's not just time to learn. Now you really got to make some plays.
Well, a lot of it is mental. I mean, if you have a mistake, a lot of it's mental.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of it's physical at this point, but it's mental. Maybe not being. I mean, you can be one step late.
Yeah.
And get beat. But especially with the guys we play, and I tell our guys all the time. We have to be dang near perfect in everything we do, and whether it's our reads, our drops, where it's our coverage, where it's our angles. I mean, we have to be dang near perfect. And, of course, we'll never get to perfect. I understand that. But
right.
We're getting better and better every week.
Well, Coach, for that Wossman defense, you mentioned a much better scheme over there than what maybe you've seen before. It looks to me like what you can expect is a 4-man or 5-man front. That tends to be what everybody kind of throws at us. And so, but what opportunities do you see for the offense? Where are the places that we've got to capitalize?
Well, we got to run away from 94, I can tell you that. Wherever he is, we need to run away from him. He's a monster, man. He's 6'3", 6'4", 300 pounds. I mean, runs well. He's been injured a lot. Again, our good fortune is he came back last week, and he'll have another week of conditioning to get ready to play full game. So, but yeah, just do some of the things we do, and we got to have some wrinkles, and we got to win the special teams battle. That's something we don't talk about a whole lot, but. Against teams like Wossman and those guys, you got to win the special teams battle, because you're not always going to win the battle up front, or you're not always going to win the speed battle. But if you can win the special teams battle, then that gives you a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Coach, when you look at the overall plan of this week, and we'll talk in a minute maybe about, even looking a little bit further down the road into the playoffs, what are the keys to winning this week? 'Cause nobody wants to just play and get better. It's week 10. At this point, you need to win.
Yeah, definitely need to win, and going out and getting started early, going out and getting an early start, a fast start, and just keeping the pressure on them is what we'd like to see happen.
Well, Coach, good luck this week against Wossman as they come to our place for a kickoff on Thursday night at 7 o'clock in Panther Stadium. But, Coach, just real quickly, I want to ask you, just peeking ahead down the road as you look towards the playoff picture, a lot of folks asking, hey, what's happening, where are we at? Some folks not even sure if we're in. Well, most likely we are in unless something catastrophic takes place in the PowerPoint rankings. But what are you guys looking, and what do you expect maybe next week? Will we be on the road, or do you have any idea yet?
Well, I mean, that's we're playing for a home field football game.
Yeah.
We win, we're going to be at home. I mean, if we lose, I can't guarantee you we're going to be at home. Maybe not. I don't know. But I promise you this: if we win, we will play a first-round game at home.
Yeah.
So, that's why I said this is a 6-game season, because to me the playoffs start Thursday. Gotcha. You're playing for a home playoff round 1, and then everything else is out of your control.
Yeah.
Who wins what? That's nothing you can control, but you can control what happens this Thursday night.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to do, man.
Well, Panther fans, this Thursday night, 7 o'clock, Panther Stadium, Panthers versus the Wossman Wildcats. If you can't make it, you can catch us on YouTube beginning at 6:15 with a replay of this coach's show, pregame with myself and William Handy at 6:45, kickoff for 7 o'clock. Be sure to check out the website, shspantherfootball.com, for highlight videos, game replays, and more. You can also find the link for the live stream on that website. Coach, final thoughts before we wrap up tonight?
Well, look forward to it, man. It's going to be a beautiful night again Thursday night. Come on out and support the Panthers, and looking forward to a heck of a football game.
All right, and as always,
go Panthers.
Panther fans, thank you for being here tonight. Thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your week. Look forward to seeing you Thursday night, 7 o'clock, for Panthers versus Wildcats.
I spend my nights under the stage lights, but after the applause, I'm back in my truck from my hometown dealer, Benoit Motors. The country roads of Louisiana are my soul, and Benoit Motors gets who I am and who we are. They are proud to be a dealership for the everyday American. Join me and become a member of their family. Benoit Motors. They're with you for